Hey guys, and welcome to week 20 of Book Club, and this week we're going to be talking about The Eye of the Moonrat, the Book of Souls, book 1. Who is this by? Sorry, I'm just going to get up who this is by, just so I know. It's by Trevor Cooley. Now, I thought this book was really good and I really enjoyed it. There are like ridiculous amounts of books in this series, and they're not hugely long, so it isn't quite a nice thing to do. Quite a nice thing. So the book starts out. Hopefully you guys have read it, but I like the way the book starts out with Justan, and that's the way it's supposed to be pronounced, I believe, because the author did write into Audible. When they voiced the book and asked that Justan's name be pronounced like that. So Justan is an academy student of the Battle. Is it the Battle Academy? I think, yeah, it's the Battle Academy, not the Battle School. So yeah, the Battle Academy, I believe. No, sorry, not the Battle Academy. He is in the for the school before the Battle Academy. So it's like a training school. So yeah, he's in there, and I thought it was really. I really liked the way that they didn't mess around with. The author didn't go, oh yeah, we're gonna go from a young age. This person, we're gonna go. We're gonna go from the first year where he failed, or we're gonna go, 2 years, his second year. He just basically went straight in on his second year, just when he was about to fail, and where his real journey begins. He didn't have no premise, no real. Oh wait, let's drag this book out a little bit longer to make it a little bit longer, which I really like about some authors. The way these days that they are just going, no, I'm not messing around with. I don't care if I don't write an 80,000, or it might even be 80,000 words, I don't know, but I'm not going to mess around writing, 100,000, 200,000 words like some people. I'm just going to have my story flow through nicely and just keep going, which I really do like. I don't like it when books take 20 years to get into the story, or when they're into the story, it takes 20 years to do anything, because that's kind of annoying, if you know what I mean. So I thought that was pretty cool. Another thing I liked was the characters in general. Justan, he seems like a very typical. I believe he's 16, 17. It does tell you in the book. He acts a lot older than what he is, so it's hard to think about how old he actually is. So yeah, so I like. Sorry. Late night last night. I like the way he is. The way he is. I also like the. I just like a lot of things. If I'm perfectly honest, I like a lot of things in the book. It flows really nice. Like I said, it doesn't have this person just clicking straight away and understanding everything. What, my camera does seem a bit out of focus, I got to admit. Maybe it's focused on something behind me. But yeah, it doesn't have him getting everything clicking into place straight away. He has to work for everything he tries to do. So he's good at strategy. So he gets put under a private tutelage. Because the academy want him in the school just because of his strategy, because he has such a strategic and such an amazing mind. Now, unfortunately, he also has fundamental magical powers, which a wizard comes along and finds out. And the wizard's like, okay, I want this guy because he has magical powers, and we want to take him to the mage school, or the wizard's academy, I think it's called, and train him. But then the warriors want him as well. So it's very much the fact that two factions want this guy, but only one faction can have him So they sort of put him on a year's training regime to get him to get into Battle Academy, and they send him with for his own tutelage under a woman called Junate. She's from a foreign land, and I really like Junate as a character. I think she brings a lot to the book, just because she brings a difference in culture, and it shows you like different cultures around the world. You've also got some bullies in there. So there's a couple of bullies. There's Ken, and there's I believe it's Brandy, and they're quite bullies towards each other, towards Justan, and they're doing whatever they can to sabotage him and take the mick out of him and upset him. But he is very much the type of person to be like, no, I don't care, and I'll do it on my own. He's very much a loner, which is interesting, I guess, because I guess especially in this kind of day and age that everybody can be kind of a loner sometimes, like, because we've got computers and internets, and it sort of connects with you in a way that even if this was medieval times, that somebody could be, or in the fantasy world, that somebody could be a loner in a world with people all around them because of specific reasons. So there's always reasons for stuff like that. So I think that's really cool. But yeah, he spends like a year training, and the year's training is I would have preferred a little bit more on the year training, if I'm honest, a little bit more story on that part. But it seemed like it passed very quickly, with basically just given the basic what they're doing: running, sword play, arrow play, shooting and stuff like that. So yeah, it was very, very interesting, in all honesty, and I would have liked to have seen a little bit more about that, and know a little bit more about that. But it tends to show that the writer in the book cares more about storyline, than giving the reader, let's say, context and why he knows a specific moveset in swordplay. So, like, Justan might do something in a future battle where he spins his dual swords or something, or he'll fight a single-handed sword instead of two-handed sword. It mentions briefly that Junate first taught him to use one sword before she said he could use two. Now I thought this was interesting because obviously everybody should do that. Because that would make the most sense to me. But I like the fact that it said that, because then later on in the story, I believe he does fight one-handed at some point in time. So it gives you the background story in that. Also in where is it, in the story, like, he doesn't, everything doesn't click for him as well. Like, the archery doesn't click for him until he gets specific things and cues from people. So he's like talking to the archer person, the archery teacher, and he's just shooting, and he can't hit the target until the archer says, don't worry about all the wind and all this and all that, because he's using metaphors for it. But I don't think it's the actual archery teacher, but somebody tells him, just don't worry about anything, just aim at the target and shoot. Don't calculate in wind. Let your mind calculate all that in. And he does it, and he just hits the target. And it made me laugh that you can. It definitely seems that you can overthink things, and that's what he's been doing for years. And if he would have just, archery was his worst subject every year, for the past 2 years. But if he would just talk to somebody in those 2 years, he would have just had the ability to be able to get into the Battle Academy, because I believe you have to get like 15 points to get in, and he gets 5 every time on the archery, and then it's hand-to-hand combat, and archery. So between those 3 events, he would have to have scored 3, I think. Sorry, I think it's 10. I think it's 10. I'm not sure. It might be 15. But either way, no, I think it's 10. I think it's 10 because he misses the strategy test on the second year, doesn't he? So he doesn't get no points in that. But he gets like 4. Is it 4 in archery, 3 in, or 2 in hand to hand, something like that. And then he needs 4 or 5 to get through. Yeah, he needs 4 to get into the Battle Academy, and he does, I believe. Or he has enough points normally to get into the Battle Academy, but then they sort of scuff the rules, don't they? They scuff the rules. I really like that bit because they seem like the author sort of, because this was like a main event. I really like the way in the main events he takes his time in the main events, and gives you like context, but he doesn't slow the story down. Like he won't spend like 2 chapters on one part of the events. He'll still be pacing through it like it's real life, and it will just flash past, and then you'll be like, wait, come back a little bit. I want to know more. But you can't. It's just gone. He writes really well, as in, Trevor Cooley writes really well, as in, the events pass by as if it's real life. So let's say in the archery event, it's over within probably a chapter, but it seems so fast because I know it's only 5 shots, but a lot of other people would drag that out. They would like put flashbacks in there, and the bloke monologues in people's heads, distractions. They would cut to other people in the crowd and then talk about them, and then have flashbacks of them, and it really slows it down and really drags out these main events to make them really probably intense and really build up a pressure, where it seems like the pressure is there and intense when you're reading it or listening to it, but it just goes past so fast, and it's like real life. It's like if I'm shooting 5 shots in real life, there is going to be immense pressure there, but of course once I've shot my 5 shots and it's done, it's gone. It's just straight away gone. I do like the way it does cut away to a few characters as well. In this book, it cuts away to Fist, who is an ogre, which is it's really cool. And of course Deathclaw as well. I really like the way that the way it cuts away, you know that character is going to be special, and you kind of figure out why they're going to be special at the end of this book or the middle of the second book. But it's kind of cool to see, you see how they're going to be special in the actual storyline of the thingy, and it'll be interesting to see, are there more characters like this. I really like Fisk because he's smart, obviously, and he thinks about things even though he's an ogre. And of course he leaves his tribe and starts his own like mini tribe thing, which is interesting. I like that. But yeah, I think that's cool. And he gets like he builds himself like a little shelter and all that, so it's interesting. He's a very interesting character because you expect ogres just to be big brutes and crazy and dumb, but you get this one that isn't, and he's a bit more intelligent, and it makes your mind tick, and it makes maybe they're not all idiots and dumb. Should we really be looking at these creatures and thinking, what can we do to help them? Also, you have obviously the Raptoid Deathclaw, and he's also another one of those characters who are just there, and you're thinking to yourself, well, why is Deathclaw here? What's going on? Why? What? And he seems to be a very interesting character, Deathclaw. I would like to see a lot more. A lot more from him in the coming books. I'm up to like book 5, so I know what's going to happen, but I'm not going to spoil anything further than book 1. So he's a very interesting character. Him and his broodmate. Is it brood? Yeah, it's broodmate. No, it's nesting mate, isn't it? No, it's basically his sister Talon. So they're interesting characters, to say the least. And as you're going through the story, obviously, that Justin actually does get through the exam. I thought that was thought the exam was probably the highlight of the thing, and it went past, as I said, really fast. And I would have liked to see that slowed down a little bit, but I guess like the way the writer writes, it was good because it paced it. So then we were straight out on the road, and the next bit, the council pull like a fast one on Juice Done. They're like, oh, you got to take 2 years. You'll go over to here, over to the major school, and you've got to learn magic. And once you're doing that, you can then you can come back here and learn from us. So you're going to be like a war wizard. So you're going to be able to use swords, your 2 swords. Obviously, you're going to be fit, and then you're going to have all that wizard's training. So then you're going to be able to hopefully cast fireballs, lightning, blow stuff up, and you'll be amazing. But obviously, there was a part in the book as well where Juice Done is shown what a true war wizard can do, and he was horrified by this, which was interesting, really, because he wants to be a warrior that is going to obviously carve death throughout the enemy ranks, but then he doesn't want to be a war wizard that can blow enemies away and stop his friends from dying, essentially. Like, if I had the power, if there was an army in front of me and my friends, and I would love the power to just click Thanos their ass and kill them all. I mean, I guess a lot of people would end that war before it started. I mean, it would be a terrifying power, yes, but would you want that to happen, or would you want hundreds of people to die on in your country, and your friends and family to die potentially? So he seemed a little bit strange when he said, no, I don't want that power. To me, it was very much, yes, I would have that power, but I wouldn't want to use it, obviously. Which was interesting to see. And of course, when we start progressing through the book, he starts going to the mage school, on his way to the mage school, and he gets lost in the woods, and that's where he finds the rogue horse Gwytha. I thought Gwytha was an interesting character. I can't quite place her in my head, like picture her, what she looks like in my head. I have an image, but I can't quite get it. I probably have to look up online to see it, but she's a very interesting character, and I really like the way the author has brought this type of character into the book, and it kind of shows. Sorry, it kind of shows like the bad side of magic, but also the good side. The good can come out of the bad side of magic. And you also see the elves, which I didn't realize there were elves and dwarves. Oh yeah, you saw Lenny before this as well. Lenny was an awesome character. Well, Lenny is an awesome character. Sorry, should I say? But yeah, from book 1, Lenny is an absolute dream of a character. So like he just runs into like bashing goblin heads, and he's like, "Hey, hi, Juice Done," and it's like, "What are you doing here, Lenny? Why are you here, Lenny? Lenny, what is going on?" But yeah, it was pretty cool, pretty fun. Got to admit. I thought that was he's a pretty cool character. I like the way he has his like spice wine, and there's a lot of respect for elves, which is different for a dwarf. You don't really see that with dwarves. Dwarves are normally very disrespectful towards elves in most books, but he seems to have a lot of respect for them, which I kind of like. That he is like the flip of what you would expect of a dwarf. Like with Jig, and in the goblin thing, that Jig is the opposite of what you expect of a goblin, where the dwarf he's actually, I call him Lenny because the main character calls him Lenny, but his real name is Len Wee. I like the way that his character is half flip, so he likes bashing his hammer. He likes smithing in that, but he has that respect for like elves and magical things and things that he doesn't. I mean, he probably understands them, but he's very respectful of things, which I really like. I really do like. But yeah, Lenny's or Len Wee, should I say, is one of my most favourite characters in the book. He's great. He's definitely great. But yeah, when they eventually get to the mage school, they have a bit of catastrophe anyway, because 2 of the guards that were escorting them from the battle academy, who Juice Done was getting close to, as you guys saw. I thought that was cool as well. They have trouble in the woods with a orc, and then they have to go out there and Justan, Kixel, and begins with V, Vanya go out there to the orc camp and start trying to face them, which is interesting. But it goes to show with Justan's training then with his swords, as well as before with the goblins. The goblins before, when they were on the road, than when they got ambushed. But I think it more shows here because obviously he's on his own with just 2 people, and he's got to take on a lot of people. I believe that he does take a nasty hit to the head, but it's very much he basically is the guy who rescued the other 2 before they got killed, in my opinion. But yes. But I don't really know what to talk about now. But I can't wait to see what happens in book 2. Well, actually, no, I read book 2. Sorry, in the other books. I think I'm about halfway through, and the books do get slightly longer as you go through. So hopefully, it should be really cool. So next week, I think we're going to stick with the Bowl of Souls, and I'm going to go say let's do book 2 next week. I don't want to go book 1 to 5. But I want to do probably book 1 and 2, and then something else, then 3, and then maybe 4, then something else. It depends on how you guys are liking the books, because I really got addicted to them, and I'm on book 5, as I said. Like, I really went, I just went, like, I listened to the first one, and then I was like, I need to know what happens in the second one. Listen to the second one. It's like, this has left me on another cliffhanger. Like, it leaves you on a cliffhanger, and it leaves you wanting more every time. And that's where the books are absolutely just killing it. They're killing it. And obviously the author, I believe, is self-published as well, which this to me is absolutely amazing. It's really cool to see that somebody is this popular and good, I believe, and he's just self-published. It makes me want to say, hey, you know what? I'll publish my own book. In case you guys didn't know, I have written a book. It is very, very bad, but but yeah, I may publish it one day when I can get round to fully editing it. I have edited it pretty much fully. I just want to change a few things in my book, but hopefully this is pretty awesome, and I would like to see more. If I'm honest, I would like to see more of this guy. So yeah, next week we're going to go book 2. I believe, what's book 2 called? I'm just going to look that up quick. Book 2 is called The Dark Messenger of the Dark Prophet, and I believe that's going to be an interesting book that you guys are going to like. And that book we can get more into the villains as well, of the whole storyline, because you didn't really see a lot of Yusan Vril, I believe his name is. You didn't really see a lot of the villain, so he was like, you saw him right at the beginning of the book gain the Rings of Stadion, and then after that he was in and out of the book, and you saw he was absolutely crazy and mental. But apart from that, he was interesting, very interesting. So I'd like to see what's going to happen with that in general, to be fair, and we will in future books. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed this book club. I need to do this live. I need to schedule. I may schedule a time to do this. Tell me in the comment section if you guys want me to do that. If I should schedule a time, let's say it's like Sunday, like every Sunday at like maybe like 9 o'clock or something, and like do a live book club. Because I reckon I could do that every Sunday at 9 o'clock. Do like a live book club so we can also actually sit and talk about the book. And I can ramble on for like half an hour like I have right now. But hopefully next week, yeah. So next week is the Bowl of Souls Book 2, the Messenger of the Dark Prophet. Ow, my head really hurts. By Trevor Cooley. Hopefully you guys are gonna enjoy that book. I definitely did. So until then, I will see you guys later. Peace.